Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I think this is the first video I really need to set up my game with my voiceover with a step-by-step guide how I did the painting from start to finish. I did upload some video in the past, but without my voice, I was just lazy because video editing takes so much time. But I feel like it's time for me to set up my game. And my name is Hu Chen. I am an engineer. And my part-time is painting. And I start my painting journey since 2019, February 18. So it's almost 7 years anniversary. I did oil and acrylic in the past until last year. This time, I start watercolor painting. And my Instagram last year at this time is just about 400 followers, but right now it's more than 3,000 because of Reel and YouTube Short, and especially Reel. And I really appreciate everyone who follow me and give me a follow and give me a thumbs up for the short and Reel. I grow super fast. I was in shock. Many people love my painting, especially watercolor. So I think it's time for me to do a tutorial how I do my watercolor painting, especially this one. This one is the first watercolor painting. I feel like I am a professional because I get so many likes and comments on Instagram when I only have like less than 2,000, but my reel get more than 4K, and then my comment section is like more than 100. So many people love how I did this crab leg. So I think it's time for me to teach you how I did that. I hope you enjoy it and give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. You will help my channel grow. And here is a step-by-step video. Let's go. The first step is to sketch. You can either use pencil or brush like me. I used to draw so much. I drew as I grew up. So I used to draw too much. I'm just so sick of pencil. So right now, whenever I get a chance, I just use brush directly to draw in the big shape, especially simple still life like that. And with the light value to draw in the big shape and outline the contour of the subject. You don't need to do precise drawing. I don't think it's good to just completely copy the photo. As you can see, the photo here is pretty dull. The color is just not vibrant enough. And I normally use light value and then I use magenta here to build up the contrast gradually. I love magenta. I think magenta is my favorite color for watercolor painting. And then I use cadmium yellow for some basic color of the crab leg. You need to build up the layer from light to dark. So the color here right now is pretty light or pretty easy to be covered by another darker value of the color. Like here, I use cadmium red or cadmium orange to build up the layer further, and then I do some detail of the T here. And the breathing effect for me is just so fascinating. I love watercolor. This is exactly why I want to do watercolor, because of the breathing effect and the way of technique. It's just like magic. You can do that in oil acrylic. It's so hard to mimic. And then later on, I use burnt sienna. I think it's burnt sienna. I should fill my palette, but because I don't have more webcams, so I did not feel the color I use. I kind of forgot because it's like months ago. It's back in October, so the color I remember right now is just roughly. I think the blue is Prussian blue or ultramarine blue. You can use either to darken the value. The shadow side or the dark value is either Prussian blue or burnt umber. As you can see here, I gradually build up the value step by step. I don't use so much value, but for some outline, I can do that because you won't go long for the dark outline, but you can easily mess up if you do too much value inside the subject. It's so hard to get rid of that. And I try to pick up the texture of the crab leg here, and I did make a mistake, as you can see here. I feel like it's just too early to do the details, so I still try to pick up the value step by step here. I did do some detail here, the teeth of the crab leg, and later on I use, I think it's burnt sienna again to darken the value a little bit. And then I feel like I'm mixing red, so I use carmine red for this part to build up some texture of the crab leg. And I do build up the value. I feel like the crab leg here is focus point. And I use partial blue here to darken the value here and there, nothing major. I just try to pick up the texture here. I don't think I succeed, so I let it dry. And then I work the other area a little bit. I did my mistake, as you can see. It's so hard to be perfect, I guess. Especially watercolor painting, you have to experiment so many times and then learn from that. So as long as you don't go too dark, you can always fix the mistake you made. Unlike oil acrylic, you can always let it dry and cover that with acrylic, titanium white, or other opaque color. But watercolor, you cannot do that. I think that's one of the drawbacks of watercolor. It's just like the step I learned from oil acrylic is completely opposite. Like for oil acrylic, you have to do from dark to light. Here is opposite. As you can see here, I'm still doing some detail and darken the value here and there. And then I make up some mistake I made. I think watercolor tend to become lighter after it dry. So here I have to redo the value here again and again. I think that's the process of the watercolor painting. Exactly why it takes so long. I did try to use magenta to bump up the redness, but I don't think I succeed, but it's what it is. And I did try to do some detail here, but I don't think I succeed. You can see it's too bad. I just wipe that off. It happens all the time. I already numb, if that happens, I just let it dry and then I go back to the area to undo the damage, and then I redo again. I think this is the process of watercolor painting. And I let it dry and do it again, because what's the worst scenario can happen. So here I start to redo the detail, and I think I succeed this time. It's just not as high. Somehow I just overthink. And it's so hard to know when to stop. I think that you can call it done, but for any painting, it's so hard for artists to know when to stop. So I just darken the value here and there, do some more detail to make my painting have more depth. But actually, I don't think it made a big difference. And here, I think that conclude all the process I did for this simple still life subject. I hope you learned something from me, and let me know in the comment section.